here we go. Welcome to tonight's special webinar called the Roadmap to ICF Credential. So let's give everybody a round of applause. Woo! Thank you for spending your Friday to come over to to attend this webinar. Before we're gonna start, I want to show a video clip that is produced by ICF, and I found this video clip a little bit special because it's a story that happens in Singapore, and the person in the video, the coach that is in the video is actually a student of CMA. Okay, so let's watch this video clip. You can actually find it in the ICF YouTube channel. Okay, so allow me to share this with all of you.
I have a few people coming to speak to me about it after they learn about me doing what I did. I always just tell them, life is short. There's no harm trying. If it fails, you can always go back. But if you never try, you'll never know. I was working for a government organization for around 2.5 years. I had a nagging feeling that there's something more that I was seeking, maybe a job with a purpose that I could better relate to. It was just by fate that I got reconnected with the founder of Looms. And I felt a great part of me could really relate to the cause. And so I took it on part-time while having my full-time job. Loom's mission, we create employment opportunities through sustainable craftsmanship for stay-at-home moms. We teach them sewing skills, and then they get to create their art pieces, which we then sell. Looms started a partnership with a career coach company. It was through the pilot that I managed to get a 3-month career coaching experience with Chuan Chuan.
When Shohan came to me, she had a lot of successes in her previous career. To many people, it will be the ideal life. However, she was searching for something else, something more meaningful, more purposeful. So we began our journey on a search for who she really was, what's important to her, and what is the definition of success in her life.
Through her, we do different exercises. For example, a values exercise. And through the value exercise, I get to discover about what is it that is important to me. I prioritize my family, I prioritize the meaning, the purpose of what I do in my career over things like career, progression, salary, bonuses, and recognition. And it made me realize as to why I felt much more fulfilled in the work I was doing for the social enterprise part-time versus what I was doing for my organization full-time. And eventually, after 3 months of my career coaching with Chuan Chuan, took the leap of faith. I left my full-time organization and joined the social enterprise as a partner full-time.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. She was able to acknowledge that she will always have the fear of the unknown. Having that fear within her, she was still able to move forward and take that first step that helps her explore what she really wanted.
I'm so glad I took the leap of faith. Working for an organization that has purpose that aligns with me better actually makes me a happier person. I feel more challenged, I feel motivated in what I'm doing every day. I feel like everything I do has a direct impact to the women that we have. But my fulfillment and happiness at work transcends to my relationship with my family. I am a mirror of my child. How I am as a person, it will be reflected in my child. I want him to grow up to constantly challenge himself and take the unconventional route and to do what he is passionate about and not just go with the flow. When there's a lot of uncertainty, that's when you are pushed to challenge yourself, and that's when you experience growth. And that is the kind of spirit that I actually want my son to learn from, not to be afraid of challenges.
Great. I hope you find inspiration in this video. Vocation, calling, professional coaching, I choose. It's not an employment, it's not a job, it's not a business. Yes, it can be a job, it can be a business. But I choose because this is what I am. It's not about this whole title called professional coach, but what professional coaching represents. It represents a vocation, represent a platform in which I help another human being to find meaning, purpose, and moving on to have a fulfilling life, and helping them to gain awareness and clarity, and challenging them to be decisive and to hold them accountable to what really they want to manifest. So this is more than just a job. And I'm sure most of you here today, you choose. Okay, you choose to walk this path. Some of you are still in the beginning journey of exploring, and some of you are already decided. Whatever where you are, somehow something about professional coaching is calling out to you. Okay, so today webinar is about it is designed purely for people, for our coaches or for our participants, um, who want more than just a certification to add on to their name card. Well, you could be, okay, it could be the case, but I guess most of you guys who came here tonight, you are really looking at what is available for you as you move beyond the certification. And I think it is our responsibility to show you that there is more than just a certification. It's about you being who this role is. And so that's why today we're going to talk about the roadmap to ICF Credential. That is where you kind of formally, kind of make that distinction that I'm going to enter into this sphere in which I want to be recognized as a practitioner in this industry. Okay, just like doctors, lawyers, educator, it's not just a job. They actually live up what this professional demands them to be, especially educators. Right? They know that this got awesome responsibility in them, to be a living example for the students to amplify their good model. Well, it's not that they are perfect, but somehow something inside them is kind of like urging them, okay, be the best of who you can be because many eyes are watching you. Right? Also, like for doctors, they the way they talk to the patient, the way they interact, is being is professional. Okay, they honor what that professional is. Okay, and similarly, this is what we're talking about as we kind of like take that one step. Okay, just one step forward beyond certification into this whole concept of credential. Okay, so let me give you a quick rundown of what we want to do today. So we have a couple of faculty who are joining us. So we just invite them later on, in a short span to share with all of you why they want to be an ICF credential coach. Then after that, I'm going to just give a few I won't say advice, but kind of like help you to see things in a broader scheme to allow you to be able to make a much more informed decision as to whether credential is something that you would like to consider. And then we're going to give the big bulk of the time here, walking you through the the application process, mainly because it's not that it's a lot of information, but we found that it might be very useful for you, that we can offer you some kind of like framework for consideration to make life a little bit easier for you rather than you going to the website and kind of like, okay, where to begin with, you know. So that's what our intention is. Now, if you have any questions, okay, you can just note it down first, and then at the end of the presentation on the application, you know, you can just raise it up and we'll walk you through. Good. Great. So we have a couple of faculty staff joining us here. Okay. They were once like you. Okay. Start with 0cc. What do I mean by start with 0cc? That means they start the program with no certification and they got the first certification. Okay. Now, what do we mean by certification? First, certification is a way in which we tell the world that I have formalized my skills and my knowledge according to industry standards. So most of them come with 0cc and then they got the first C. After they got the first C, they add another C to it. They become ACC, which is the first level credential. But some of them was a little bit ambitious. They bypass the ACC to go straight to PCC. So they got 2C. Then along the way, they're being nudged. They're being pushed, and now they got MCC. Okay, CMA, MCC credential coaches are all, you know, from 0cc, we grow them up to finally MCC. So it is possible, okay, to get to your MCC credential, even though we know that there are just less than 1,000 around the world globally. But CMA itself, we already produced 10 MCC during these 7 years, and they're all homegrown. Okay, so it is possible. Yeah. So we have a couple of them to share first. What is it to get all the C behind them from 0cc to finally either ACC or PCC? Okay, so who would like to go first? We have Lisa here, we have Ronald here, and who else do we have? Is Cecilia here? Oh, I think Cecilia might be. We got Yang also here with us. Who would like to go to share why you want to be an ICF credential coach?
All right, I'll go first.
Go ahead, Lisa.
So I'll be brief. For me, fundamentally, it's meaningful to have the credentialing because it is a global standard. And my intention of coming back to Canada was that in North America, ICF is pretty dominant. And so that's one of the key reasons for getting it for me and in having that recognition. Even though I do know fantastic coaches that don't have credentialing, but it is a launch pad. For people who are starting out, I think just to get that credentialing is the fundamental launch pad into something more. And beyond that, you actually meet a community. Once you're in the ICF chapters, Hong Kong, Toronto, I'm part of now, the people that you meet are fantastic. So just expanding that network for yourself is one of the huge benefits of credentialing as well.
Well, thank you, Lisa, for sharing. So it's really out of a professional need that Lisa's went ahead to attain her credential. Yeah. Great. Laura, Ronald, or Milena, are you here? I just saw that you're here. If you want, Lena, you can also contribute as you're working towards your credential too.
Yeah, I can go. Hi. So I've recently become a member of the ICF, and I've done the mentoring program with Sarah and Joe, and for me it's just that I continue to learn and grow, and it's just being part of a professional network. And really the key point for me is really the confidence and the certainty. And I like the video she was explaining, we will always have the fear of the unknown, but I feel like being part of the ICF also allows me to have that certainty that there is support and there is a network of professional people that I can always tap into. So I'm really excited about it.
Thank you, Lena. It's like our security blanket that we hold on to when we first, as a little toddler, we always hold on to some security blanket. Maybe that might be useful at the beginning for us to have something, to hold on to. But then as we grow older, hopefully you can just put that aside. because you are able to go beyond that security bracket. But for the beginning, we just need something to allow us to just hone in and then move on. Thank you, Lena, for sharing. Maybe is there any fact? We have Joanna Visa here joining us too. Do you want to contribute something about why you want to pursue your credential?
Yes, thank you, Ben. And as you said, Ben, you talked about the doctors. Okay, the doctor has a official degree. Okay, but there is not a university or college degree about coaching. None, none,
Ah,
none, none until Ben decided that maybe we can got it. Until now, I joined ICF because ICF is a global umbrella and it's a globally recognized. We are in, and every 3 years, even we are very willing to improve. There is something, someone to say, okay, you have
mm,
to renewal, you have to have a mentor coaching again. There is a new competency, and someone is guiding us to have a high quality coaching. This is what I am busy today.
thank you, Joanna. Well, for me, if you ask me, Ben, why do you apply for your first credential, which was a PCC credential? Let me be very honest to you. I did it because I don't want to be losing behind people. Because being a Singaporean, I just know the importance of adding credential to you. So I did not give even a single thought about it. All I know, after my certification, I would just go and apply my credential. Do you need one? I didn't even bother to think whether I need one. All I know is it's within my budget and I can afford it. Do you need it? I don't know, but I think that's a natural progression to get a credential after I got a certification. Now, then you might be asking me, Ben, why do you go for your coaching certification? Trust me, it's an accident. I'm living in Kazakhstan for almost quite a long period of time, and I've not been back to Singapore um, for quite a while during that period of time. So I think when I first returned back, I was totally amazed that my little nephew boy, which was about maybe that time I think he's about 12 years old, I was getting him a gift, a watch, and I gave it to him. And he said, I don't need a watch. I said, what do you mean you don't need a watch? When I was 12 years old, I desired to have a watch because that's a symbol that I'm a man now. You should need a watch. You should be happy that I'm giving you a watch. No, I don't need a watch. Tell me why you don't need a watch. Then he showed me his smartphone. I got this. I said, but this is a mobile. No, this is not a mobile. I can call, I can play, and I can use this as my watch. What's that? What's that? That's my first time I actually saw a smartphone, by the way. So I'm like, what? So that was how out of touch I am from Kazakhstan. So I think, but I came back to Singapore that time purely for upgrading because I was so away. And so I asked my good friend and kind of sit down over the coffee and ask, okay, just tell me any certification program that I can do. Number one, online. Number two, I guarantee can get it even though I don't attend the class. So kind of like that was how it began. And then my friend happens to be doing a coaching certification and just tell me, okay, this is a certification I did online and you can just try and see what that is. Oh, okay, I take out the website when I returned back to Kazakhstan. Oh, it's online and I can do it anytime, just sign up. And when I sign up, I have this mentality, I always want to get the best. So I look at the course schedule program, I look at the highest figures one. Okay, this is the one, and I just sign and pay for it and just go in. That is how it started. Just because I already paid for the ACTP program, when you ask me that time, do you know what you sign up? I don't know, but something with coaching and certificate. It's something to do with coaching and human potential. I had psychology background, so I don't think it's difficult for me to kind of complete it. That's all that I know. But then because I already invested in the ACTP program, I heard from my facilitator that, you go for your credential after that. So basically what I do, just go in like this. Okay, so that is how it begins. I did not even think about it. So then back to this fundamental question, do I really need a credential? I often heard that a lot from students coming back to us, share with me, do I need a credential or not? After a while, I decided to realize that that was a wrong question to begin with. Now you by now you should have figured it out. You ask the right question, you get the right answer. You ask the wrong question, you got the wrong answer. So it already has to depend on how you're asking the question. So what are you seeking here? So when you say that, do I need a credential? That was like going to a doctor and say, doctor, I need a operation to remove my kidney because my friend just did that. It's the same like this. You go to the doctor and say, do I need to go, do I need to take an injection? Do I need to go for this operation? The doctor will be looking at you and say, so what's your condition? I mean, let's talk about what's your condition first before we can decide whether you need this or you don't need that. So I think that's the better way to approach this whole matter about, do I really need a credential, by beginning by sort of like looking at what's my current condition right now. Now, there are, most of us are coming from different backgrounds, so I'm not talking about those who are looking for who are in the program because because you want to get a skills and you want to be able to execute a functional role. Okay, so I'm not talking about that group of people. I'm talking about individual people who are freelance, or you already have your coaching practice, or you're planning, one day to be able to move out to build your practice. So these are the group of people that I'm really talking about. If you are in this category of people, then ask yourself these very simple questions. Just draw one line and imagine that line as a line of no return. Moving to the right hand side is where you are launching forward. Moving to the left hand side, that I'm still holding on and not decided to go off yet. Okay, so you have to ask yourself, where am I in this line right now? So if you're already standing on this line at the middle ground and really looking forward, then just go for it. Okay, just go for it. Why? Because it sets the whole trajectory for you to know where you're aiming. You're just initiating a next ritual for you to begin to explore. Do you know eventually will you become an MCC? Well, when you ask me, I already told you I started off professional coaching certification with absolutely wrong motive. Okay. I get a credential because it's good to have. Do I need it at that point of time? I don't need it. But why do you go for it? Because I know. And in any profession, I need to be professional in my outlook. And that's just a natural progression for me to just move on, because I'm not standing at the middle line. I'm already out of the line, building my own business practice and as a service provider serving my client. So for me, any credential added to my portfolio is a way of showing to my client I am a truly professional individual. Do you need a credential? I don't need my credential. Then why do you go for it? My client need a credential. What do you mean your clients need a credential? My clients need to know that I am professional to serve them. Okay, it's for me, that's a natural part because I'm already in that trajectory. I'm already off that line. So for me, there's never a question whether I should or should not. It's a natural progression for me. Now, for some of you, you might be just standing on the line. Okay, so now because you're standing on the line, you're not sure where the future is going to be. So you have to now decide where you're going to add the weight so that you can tweak the flow to the one that's a little bit more towards your desire. Okay. So the point is this, you already invested in your coach training. Okay. Some of you moving on already to your advanced training. That's a lot of investment in terms of time and finance. So if you already invested that much, why don't you just do yourself a favor? Just add a little small weight over this side and kind of like force yourself, into that space of burn off the bridge. That means one-way ticket. Okay. Now, come on. How much will that cost you? How much the ICF credential cost you? compared to what you have already invested in your certification. And look at the plus side of, if you're going to gamble, at least I would rather gamble on this side, that as I reinforce or I build out that ecosystem for me, that because I've already invested, my mindset, my outlook are totally different. If you cannot understand this, think about you being a parent. You remember the first time when you are parents? Because you already got a child, you got no other way to look back but to just go for it. Okay, you just do whatever that you need to do in order to be the best parents. I think there are times like this where the credential really help because it allows you to hold on to identity, and then hopefully that kind of opens up a door for you to think like one and behave like one. Okay, and it's not that I believe in the law of attraction, but I certainly believe as you begin to show up in a certain manner, that will allow you to build that opportunity or that space to be like that person versus when you don't have it. I'm a person who believes that I don't have to wait for things to happen because things never happened. Okay. I only know that I can do what I can to make sure things happened. Can I control the outcome? I cannot. But I know I prepare the ground for something to happen. If I want to have a harvest, then it is my duty to prepare the ground and do what is necessary in order for the ground to be harvested to bear fruits. So I'm just doing what is necessary. But are you sure that by doing all this, you will have the crops, you will have the fruit that you want? I don't know. Because tomorrow maybe a tornado will come, or maybe there will a drought that will come, and then my whole harvest will be gone. I don't know. But all I need to know is if I don't do something today, nothing will happen. So I'll do myself a favor by just pushing myself towards doing what is the right thing since I'm already standing on the line, moving forward. So far, so good? Great. So with that in mind, we're going to right now to walk you through. So if you do want to go for a credential, what are some of the things that you need to be aware of? Now, what we are going to share right now are purely from ICF website. Okay, it's nothing with our perspective. We're just sharing with you. These are the requirements and these are how you can put things together. Yeah? Great. We're going to start with the first one, that ICF credential applications. We're going to start with the ACC credential first, as this is where most of you are here. Now, just bear in mind that there is a little bit exceptional case handling if you are already enrolled in the advanced training because it's a different path altogether. Okay, so now we're just going through the very basic general understanding for credential application. After we've done that, then I will just make some, then we will just brief you a little bit for those who are already going for the advanced or planning to go in the advanced, because you have a better advantage in terms of economic saving if you are going for the advanced training. Okay, so there are, we will take turn to share the requirements. Basically, there are a couple of major requirements that you need to be aware of. First one is coach training. Okay, that means that training hours that you receive. Second is a client coaching experience, which is different from coach training. Client's experience is the actual experience that you gain outside the training hours. Okay. And then the third one, which is a major one that we want to brief you guys on, is the mentor coaching part. Okay. So with that, we're going to take turn to present the information to you. Lisa, who is going for the coach training? Is that you or someone else? Are you briefing the students on the coach training hours? Oops, I think that's Cecilia, right? Okay, good. ICF has 3 different levels of credential. The first one is ACC, second one is PCC, and the MCC at the third one. For ACC credential, you need to have 60 hours of coach training. For PCC credential, you need to have 125 hours. Now, all this information are available in the ICF website. You do not need to memorize the number. All you need to know that there are different credentials, different hours of training. The first level training that you did, which is the core training, for those who are doing online, you already accumulate 60 hours. So you adequately meet the ACC credential coach training hours. Okay. If you want to apply for your PCC credential, then you need to have minimum 125 hours of coach training. Now, the good news is that this is accumulative. So if you already got 60 hours in your core training, all you need to do is to top it up with an extra 65 hours. So when you combine the two together, you should get minimum 125. So for those who are doing the advanced training, you have an extra how many hours is that? I forgot. Extra 70 hours. Yes, okay. So 70 plus 60, you have altogether 130 hours of coach training. So you adequately meet the the coach training program. Okay. Now, a little bit complicated here, but just bear with it. ICF has two different kind of accredited program. The first one is called the ACSTH. If you cannot remember the acronym, just remember small program, long name, small program, short name, big program. Okay, ACTP, 4 letters, means big program. ACSTH, long name, means small program. So ICF has small program and big program. So what do you mean by small program? Small program is where ICF says anything between less than 60 hours or 60 hours, no, and to be completed within 3 months. So these are small program. And ICF knows that coaches or participants comes from diverse needs. Some of them wanted to extend their skill set to incorporate coaching, but they have their main business. But they want to be associated as a professional coach, but not doing too much of coaching. Or there are just coaches who just want to come in to explore what coaching is all about. So it doesn't make sense for them to invest in a big program at the onset. So that's why ICF got small program. Okay. And on other reason why we get small program is that ICF also wanted coaches to specialize in specific coaching area, like for example, solution focus or coaching for trauma or ADHD, the very specific areas of specific way of coachings. So usually those program is not long, it's about 3 months or 4 months. Okay. So bottom line, small program is called ACSTH program. Now, there's another accreditation called ACTP, which is basically a longer program with minimum 6 months in duration. So that is called ACTP. ACT program, what's the benefit? Well, the benefit is that it's a one-way ticket for you when you're applying for PCC credential. In other words, the requirement to apply for PCC credential is slightly easier for students who has an ACTP program. This is the one that I'm going to talk to you later on. Meanwhile, bottom line, coach training program, 60 hours for ACC, 125 for PCC. Program accreditation got two different types, small program, big program. If you got a big program, like ACTP program, where you combine first level and second level, you are a little bit much, there's application for PCC credential will be relatively easy for you. That's all you need to know at this point in time regarding coach training. Got it? Great. So now I'm going to hand, is that to you, Lisa?
For the coaching hours, the
Client.
practice experience hours.
Okay, yes. I'm going to pass the time now to Lisa to walk you through about the client coaching experience. Lisa, I will do the share screen for you. So as you explain, I'll just put the text inside.
Sure. Yeah. So fundamentally, as Ben mentioned, the two levels, the ACC and the PCC. So for ACC, regardless of whether you're doing ACTP or ACSTH, you need the 100 experience hours. That's what they're called. So fundamentally, practice hours where you are a coach engaged with a client. And out of these 100 hours, right now they've changed it a bit because of COVID. Traditionally, you need 75 hours of paid service. So paid, and a lot of students are like, well, how am I going to get paid hours? Well, bartering is also a form of paid, meaning you coach somebody, someone coaches you back. That's a form of barter. Another form of barter could be I'm going to coach someone over a coffee, they're treating me to coffee. However, because of COVID right now, they've changed this to 70 paid hours, meaning that you can actually do 30 paid pro bono hours instead. So that's right now what's happening now because of COVID. But normally it's 75-25. So that's for ACC. And this is regardless of whether you're doing the big program or the little program. And you need at least 8 clients that have been with you from the beginning of your program. So that's important to make sure that it's not 100 different clients. There need to be some consistency with the clients that you're using over time. The second one is PCC, and that's a little bit bigger. You need 500 hours, and it is doable. For those who are wondering, well, how am I going to get 500 hours? Out of this right now, it's 440 paid hours. Traditionally, it's 450, but because of COVID, they're giving more for pro bono opportunities. And same thing, can include barter and a minimum of 8 clients since the beginning of your coach training. So ACC, just to recap, you need 100 hours, 70 of which are paid. 30 can be pro bono. And for PCC, 500 hours, 440 paid, and the rest can be pro bono. We do encourage you. So how they're not actually checking your log, but there is a log that you can download as a template from ICF where you can just log down client name, date, number of hours, whether it's pro bono or paid. And as part of your submission, you don't need to submit the log. You need to just make a declaration that yes, the hours are there. However, there is an audit process. So if you do get audited, you need to be able to produce this log for them. So that's basically how these experience hours as a coach need to be included as part of the credentialing process.
Okay. Lisa, would you like to walk them through in terms of the individual one? Are you aware of that? I mean, the individual versus the they call that the external and internal one.
Oh no, that's something I'm not familiar
Okay,
with.
no problem. So in terms of these hours, either it's 100 hours or 500 hours, there are kind of like 2 different ways that you can go about classifying them. The conventional one, or the one that most people associate, is the one that called individual. Means these are one-to-one that you coach, and like for example, if you're a consultant right now, or you're already a coach right now, you look for people, and then people engage your service. So they call that one-to-one. Okay, they classify this as individual. There's another category, and particularly useful for people who are right now currently working for an organization, or you're like, for example, you're a manager, or you're a leader of an organization, and part of your functional role is to offer is to deliver coaching to your staff, to your to your organization for the purpose of coaching and stuff like that. So those hours are also can be used. It can also be considered as your actual coaching hours. Okay, external, in terms of ICF definition, it refers to coaches who are right now, that belongs to, or they are a part of a coaching company, or a company that offer coaching to clients, and then they refer clients to them to coach. And so you got kind of like clients from an referrer to deliver coaching services. Why do we want to raise this up is that the application here is a little bit different. Here, basically what you need is just, instead of having a log sheet, you still need to keep a log sheet, but you just need to know that in addition to the log sheet, you need to have a memo from your organization, kind of like declaring that, okay, you are an employee of this organization, or you belong to this organization, and this is your current destinations, and part of your functional role is to deliver coaching, and how many hours of coaching has been delivered since you joined the organization. So just take note for those who are right now with an organization, or you already been coaching and you belong to a coaching organization or companies, you just need to get the memo ready. Okay, good. So we just pause here for a while. Is there any questions that you'd like to ask Lisa regarding the hours?
So I want to answer some of the questions going around as being an internal coach. So if you're part of an organization, like I am, and you do internal coaching back, those are paid hours, because fundamentally you're still paid out of the organization and you're coaching back as part of your job. So those can count as paid hours.
Lisa, may I add something here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so according to ICF,
Please.
if you are the direct supervisor, right, of the staff that you are coaching, then that is not considered. That is not allowed.
Okay, good. So usually based on in my working experience, I often advise the students, okay, when you are in a workplace, all you need to do is just let your staff know at this for this current moment in this conversation, I'm putting on my coaching hat. Okay, so I'm putting on my coaching hat and this is a coaching conversation, and I'm playing the role of a professional coach. What is it that we want at the bottom, at the end of the day, is that ICF want to ensure that you have the actual experience in delivering a coaching conversations. What we want is really the experience. So I'm not very quite, sticky around splitting the hair, very, as in splitting the hair. I mean, you know what I mean. So what we want here is to be able to just communicate to you that ICF do have that specification for you to take note. And what you can consider is that we want you to have good experience. Okay, as long as you are able to kind of like work around within the boundary and turn that into an experience in which you can deliver professional coaching in a form of what you have learned in the class, that is fine. What we do not want is that you turn a kind of like a staff meetings and kind of like, you know, and call that a coaching conversation, because the last 10-15 minutes you try to turn around to coach the person. Okay. If it's a staff meeting to review performance, then make it a staff meeting that review performance. But if it's a staff meeting reviewing a performance and you see that as an opportunity to turn it into a coaching conversation, what you can do is just quickly switch your role away and let the person know that right now, please don't see me as a manager. I just want to turn this conversation into a coaching conversation, and I want you to see me as a coach and not as a manager. And if a direct report say I'm okay with that, then have a decent coaching conversation with that direct report in that 30-40 minutes to help the person to gain clarity, awareness, and then to support him to put changes into what they want to move forward. And after the conversation finishes, just quickly switch your head back again and say, now that we're done the coaching conversation and you got all these actions, that can I right now put back my role as a manager and continue on, and giving you some instruction. So I think these are some good ways that you can just navigate around to be able to honor the essence and the spirit of it, and yet at the same time being able to kind of like benefit yourself to gain the experience in moving forward. So far so good. Good. Bottom line, coaching experience is just a way to help you to put what you have learned in the class and let it and test it out or execute it in that professional standard. ICF stated that the the client accumulation of the client's hours has to begin with the day you start your coach training. It's like unfair. That's unfair. I've been working for the last 10 years and I'm an internal coach for my organization. I easily accumulate 2,500 hours. Well, you should have signed up 10 years ago. Okay. Okay, so just stay with it. Just be aware that the start date of accumulating is from the start date of your coach training program. Okay, good. Any other interesting, any other questions regarding the hours?
I have one thing to add is around, Alina asked a really good question around getting consent on the
Yes.
client. So I'm going to just share it in the panel. So fundamentally, actually, you do need to seek your consent of the client formally
Mm,
in whether you're doing an audit or not. But because of privacy and information,
yeah.
formalize this process with them, get the consent, the agreement. There's a standard consent form on the ICF website as
Yeah.
well. Copy and paste and change the words, the names. But that's what you should do as part of your process as you're starting this.
Well done, Lisa. Thank you for highlighting that. Great. So as we mentioned, most of the information are available in the website. We just want to give you the skeleton and the framework so that when you go to the website, you know exactly what they are talking about. Okay, great. If not, if there's nothing else about the client's coaching hours, okay, so now we're going to move on to the third component, which is mentor coaching. And is that Ronald? It's Joanne. Okay. Oh, no.
It's me. Okay, thank you, Ben. The mentor coaching hours in another requirement. And the mentor coaching session is a special session when the coach, the mentor and the coach are together, and the mentor give or share feedback to the students to increase the coach capability in coaching aligned with the ICF core competence. This is the goal. What is the number? The numbers is 10 hours. You have to complete 10 hours. The people is saying yes, 10 hours before to submit, and extended in time in 3 months minimum. That means you cannot be 10 hours in 1 week. 10 hours of mentor coaching in 3 months. And the other requirement is at least 3 of these 10 has to be in a one-to-one. The mentor coach and yourself, 3 of them alone. The other 7, you can share the mentor. It's the mentor coaching group. There is one mentor and several students, but not more than 10. 3 hours mandatory in individual basis, 7 hours in a group with not more than 10. Where you can find the mentor coach, we strongly recommend it to go to the ICF. In the ICF website, there is the database about all the mentor coaches. And we strongly recommend it to use the CMA mentor coach, because this mentor coaching is not only to improve align in SCFF, is to have some kind of the reminder about our method. Okay? 10 hours, 3 individual, 7 in group.
Thank you. Thank you, Joanna. So kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So when you get CMA faculty staff as your mentor coach, you meet the ICF requirements for mentor coaching, and at the same time, you get feedback that help you to sharpen up the framework that we're taught you. Okay, now a few things that you need to take note. Number 1, let me just put aside those who are in the advanced training first, just purely talking about those who are moving on with the ACC credential and not moving on. I have no intention to go on to, or not say no intention, but it might not be going on to the advanced training in the immediate future. What am I supposed to say? I forgot, it just fly over. Yes, it's fly back again. Number 1, the 10 hours mentoring hours is every mentor coach in CMA has its own unique offering to our students. What we need to honor is 10 hours of working together with your coach. It doesn't mean 10 sessions. Okay, so most students actually confuse that, say, oh, I need to have 10 sessions with the mentor coach. No, it's 10 hours of working with the mentor coach. And within these 10 hours, you need to have at least 3 individual review sessions. Okay, so that's what it is about. Okay. So every mentor coach will have this unique offering in terms of how they're mentoring. So you might just want to check out with each of the supervisor that is leading you, or that you have been learning and you want to learn from him. Okay, so number one, just make sure that you feel comfortable with a mentor coach. Okay, yeah, that is a key priority, that you want to work with someone that you can connect. Number two, make sure that this is someone that you want to learn from. It's not that the best is always the best. You know what I mean? There are just something that you want to just learn from that person, or you just want to have that bonding with that person. So make sure that it's someone that matches you and someone that you want to learn from. So far, so good. Now, CMA supervisors are all highly qualified supervisors because they are well barbecued. Well, you can be right assured all the CMA's faculty staff is mentored, trained personally by me, so they're well barbecued in both sides. Okay. So, and we love to offer them to you because each of them has their unique personality, the way of connecting to people. I'm very strict when it comes to mentoring. Okay. If you cannot take harsh, then I might not be the best person, because when it comes to the recording, I'm very objective. Black is black, white is white. I will deal with the skill first, and then I will deal with you separately. Because for me, you are learning from me, my skills and my knowledge, and it's of service to you that you are aware of where your skill gap is, and it is my responsibility to help you to figure out where your skill set is. So secondary, then we can talk about, oh yes, well done. That's great. You're awesome. I'm so impressed. Well, if it's you're making progress, I will let you know you're making progress. But if you're not making progress, or I know that in your recording you're not putting in the effort, I will just tell you, I'm not seeing any progress in you. Okay, so that's my style. But other supervisors has a unique strength too. The affirmative, they know where you're from, and they help you to live it up from there. So we're going to leave it to your best choice. Reach out to the supervisor that you know and you felt that you want to learn from. Just reach out to them and say, hey, I would like you to be my mentor coach for my ACC credential. And then ask them, how do we go about doing it and stuff like that, because each of them has a unique offering. Got it? Great. So now I'm going to address something for those who are considering or who are already in the advanced training. Okay, because the configuration is a little bit different here because of the program accreditation. So earlier on, I mentioned that ICF has the ACSTH accredited program and the ACTP accredited program. Okay, now if your certification is if you're holding a ACSTH accreditations, then ICF needs to know that you have actually formally engaged a mentor coach and complete the mentor coaching. Okay, that is one. Now, for those who are going to the advanced training or who are planning to go for the advanced training, when you are enrolled in the advanced training, your certification has been upgraded to ACTP program. Under the ACTP program, the mentoring is viewed separately. It's viewed differently from those who are doing an ACSTH. In the advanced, when your certificate is upgraded to ACTP program, as part of the program, we will ensure that you have the group learning experience. You have been briefed about the PCC marker, or the marker that is needed to be demonstrated at the PCC skill set. Henceforth, for those in the advanced training, you notice that we spend a lot of time on the practical lab, which is altogether 20 hours of learning on the marker, followed by an extensive period of coaching supervision around the marker. Okay, because as part of the ACTP program, we need to be able to support our coaches to be able to coach at the PCC skill set. Now, because of that, the mentor coaching program is on, because as such, we only need to offer 3 individual sessions in which our students meet with a mentor, at least at PCC level, to provide feedback. So it's not like a mentoring package as in the ACSTH that you need to formally, do a mentoring program or a package. In the ACTP program, you already incorporated all the learning at PCC skill set, and we arrange for you to have 3 individual sessions with a mentor coach at PCC to provide you feedback on how are you demonstrating your skills at the PCC level. Okay, now, once you completed your advanced training, you actually receive an ACTP accredited certificate. And all you need is produce this certificate and a declaration that you have 500 coaching hours, and do the last thing, which is the online exam. And in 1 week time, you will get your credential. Okay, so that's the ACTP path. Okay, now if you go through if you're that's ACTP path for PCC credential. Now some students say, hey, I may not be able to get 500 hours even I work very hard from now till I finish my advanced training. How? Don't worry, even if you don't have 500 hours, let's say you only have 100 hours by the time you finish your advanced training, you still can go and apply for your ACC credential. All you need to do is show that certificate that you have completed and 100 hours and submit it. Because your program is ACTP program, you don't need to fulfill the requirements for mentor coaching because that is already included in your ACTP coach training program. So all you need to do is to submit that certificate and declare that I have 100 hours. Do the online exam and then get your credential at ACC level. So far, so good. Now, some students may, and this is the advice that I usually give to students, those who are already decided to cross the line over to master their skills so that they can pursue this professional seriously. Now, you need to understand in the scheme of learning, if you don't raise the ceiling, do you know what I mean? Raise the ceiling? Yes, if you don't raise the ceiling, how are you going to expand your skill? If you don't raise the ceiling, you keep on repeating what you have learned when the ceiling is so low, you're just simply reinforcing something that you have learned. And since you are prepared to gain 100 hours of experience, you might as well raise the ceiling, get a higher knowledge, have a much more sophisticated skill set, and reinforce that behavior at a higher ceiling rather than a lower ceiling. I'm basing this on the assumption that you are already decided to cross the line and time permits you to have the luxury to enjoy a learning program, because that's the last thing that we want, to have students who cannot enjoy it, kind of stress and have to juggle between so many commitments and responsibility. That's the last thing that we want to have. That's right. To only 2 things. Number 1, you have the desire. Number 2, you are able to allocate time for yourself to enjoy the learning. Okay, if these are the 2 criteria that is available for you, my advice to you is just go for it. Because after all, you're practicing your skills. You might as well practice it with more skill set rather than, what do you mean by this? What positive difference? What do you mean by that? What else do you mean by that? Any more else you can tell me? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? All right, good. Just like how you came to core training, you have to start to unlearn things that you become so habitual. Imagine you try to compound that on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you? And then all that you know is on the scale of 1 to 10, where are you now? On the scale of 10, where are you right now? As I said, the scaling is just a walker. Okay, you have grown up. And if you're going to accumulate 100 hours of experience, the walker is not going to serve you anyway. Because your clients will be kind of like, I know what's your next question. On the scale of 1 to 10, where are you right now, right? You don't have that broad-based capacity. Okay, so it makes a lot of sense only for those people who already decided to cross over, right? So it's better to expand and raise the ceiling and to move forward. Huh? Good. So we have completed the coach training hours. We have completed the experience that is needed, and we have completed the discussion on the mentoring. Okay, so I think we're almost complete here in terms of what we need to communicate. Elisa, is there anything else that we have missed that you felt that is important?
Yeah, Ben, this is.
Oh, go
I
ahead,
think,
Joanna.
I think we should talk it about the coach knowledge assessment, the exam.
Okay, good, great. Oh yeah, thanks for that. Do you want to share with them about that, Joanna? I did not did the. I'm very blessed that I did not do the coach training, the online exam. I got my credential way back. I don't have a lot of requirements. Joe, would you like to brief them?
Yes, yes. Okay, the last requirement is the name, the official name is Coach Knowledge Assessment. What is this? It's an exam. Okay, it's an online exam that you can do it online, of course, and there are a lot of different languages. Don't worry about the language. And this exam is based in 3 documents, okay? The ICF definition of coaching, the core competencies, and the code of ethics. This is the 3 documents when all the questions are about. In this moment, there are 155 multi-page choice questions, and we have 3 hours to complete. Usually, it's not about memorizing anything. It's about scenarios. It's 3 or 4 sentences explaining about a specific situation, and then option A, B, C, and D. We have to pass, the passing rate is 70%. And the good news is that we are only required to do once. We have to only apply for the coach knowledge assessments one. The first time that we apply, we have to do it. If we are looking for the PCC, we have to do it. If we have to do the ACC, we have to do it. But if you are ACC and you want to move to PCC, we do not need to repeat again. Okay? 155 questions in different language, 3 hours online, and the content is in the ICF definition of coaching, core competencies, and code of ethics. Usually, if we have been went from the core competencies or the core CMA program, we have the knowledge to do this. It's not to begin to study a lot, only to go the program and then you did what you needed.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joanna, for that. Don't worry about the CKA. Usually during the mental coaching part, the mental coach will give you more guidelines and instruction on where to prepare and where to download the PDF file for reference. It's an open book exam, so don't worry about that. Okay, just remember the 3 milestones. The hours have to be there. You need to complete your certificate. Number 2, make sure that you start to accumulate experience right now. And number 3, complete your mentor coaching. Or for those who are already going to the advanced, then you don't need to worry. At the time comes, we will just reach out to you and let you know, who's your mentor coach, and then you have 3 individual sessions with the mentor coach. Okay, good. So right now I'm going to open it up for a Q&A to help you to clarify anything that we might not be clear, or you might have some concern and you just want to hear some opinion on how to go about doing that. So we just keep this open for maybe about 5 to 10 minutes if there is any questions that you need to inquire. So I saw your questions there that someone says about the duration of the mentoring. It really varies from individual mentor coaching. Usually for me, I like to keep within 4 months time span, because if you drag it longer, the decay, I mean, the gap is going to have decay learning, and it's not very conducive, unless you got good reason why that should be delayed. But if not, otherwise, it's kept within 3 to 4 months. Okay, so each individual mentor coaches has its own duration. Just make sure that you have an agreement how long that period is. Uh-huh. Good. Any other questions that you'd like to clarify? We'll just give some moment for you to sort it through.
Uh, then I wonder if there are going to be any in-person sessions when the COVID situation eases.
Yes, we were for friends. This is what we promise all our students once we are, depending on where you are. Okay. Yeah. Let's say, for example, you are not yet in Singapore. Let's say things turn out to be well, and we're able to host an in-person training, let's say next year, July or May or whatever that is. We will certainly invite all our students from online to just join us in the in-person. And all you need to contribute is only what you need to pay to the hotel for the head count, because it won't be nice to get people in and not pay anything to the hotel, you see.
Okay, so you don't yet have any
No,
concrete
no,
plan?
not at this point of time.
Not at all.
Not
Okay.
at all for this year. But maybe
Okay.
next year when things is much better. So we might do that, but not at this moment.
Right. And I also noticed for the next few available kind of cohorts, it's all like 8:30 p.m. Singapore time. It makes a big difference for me because already 8 p.m. means quite disrupted sleep schedule. But if 8:30 would be very hard. Sorry, it's trivial, but it
Yeah.
is quite significant for me. So I'm wondering if you have any, earlier slots in the
One in
future.
the morning.
um,
No. Let's just put that aside first. Let's not focus on the mentor. This credential first.
okay.
Is that okay, Joanna? Thank you so very much. You can check with me offline regarding the other aspect. Okay, great. So, any other thing about the credential that you like to use this opportunity to clarify?
Uh, Ben, hello.
Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
Ben, is it a relation? I just want to ask ICF membership, and is it a
Oh,
relationship with the ICF membership and
yes.
credential extension and then PC and everything? Yeah.
Okay, thanks for raising that. We almost forgot. ICF membership and ICF credential are two separate entities. So they have their own different application process. As long as you have enrolled in a coach training program approved by ICF, you are eligible to apply as an ICF member. So all you need to go is go to the website and say join ICF member. Okay. Now, the ICF membership is valid for 1 year, and whereas for your credential, it's valid for 3 years. Okay. So for ICF credential, you need to, and during these 3 years, in order for you to renew your credential, you need to attend 40 hours of continuous coaching education, which is called for CCE unit. In fact, the webinar that we run every month, the live coaching demonstrations, is actually eligible for 2 hours of CCE unit. However, there is a minimum fees of just $10 if you do want to accumulate, if you want to earn the hours. If not, otherwise, you can earn it by attending ICF webinars. When you attend them, they will usually tell you how many hours of CCE units is available. Okay. Alternatively, you can also enroll in other programs, to earn that 40 hours. Okay, so take note, bottom line, 3 years for its credential. In between the 3 years, you need to accumulate 40 hours. Okay, and then valid. ICF membership is valid for 1 year. Now, ICF has a very interesting policy there, and that is if this is the first time you're applying for your credential, it's actually more worth it to sign up as an ICF member and then apply for your credential. So I think when you sign up as a member and you pay for your credential, you're only paying extra $50 more. Because as a you can actually apply for credential without being a member, but the fees is, let's say, 500. But if you sign up as a member and then you apply for a credential, the combined fees added together is, let's say, $550. It's kind of like a little bit more, but that is good for you to be able to go to the ICF. As a member, you go to the ICF portal and then you have a look at some of the resources that is available for you. So it's kind of like for you to kind of experience it for a year, the benefit of an ICF member. Okay, then after that, if you felt that the membership doesn't serve you, then you can actually stop being a member of ICF. Now, for me, I'm not an ICF member. Okay, I'm just holding my credential because it doesn't add. I felt that it doesn't add values to me at this point of time. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like membership and credential are just two different entity.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you for raising that up too.
Ben, Marian here.
Hi, go ahead, Marian.
Hi, I just want to check because earlier on Lisa mentioned that for the 70 hours, at least 8 clients that we work with, that is the minimum at least. What would be the range, minimum, maximum range?
Again.
For the 100 hours of coaching with our client, Lisa mentioned at least 8 clients.
Yeah.
That means 8 is the maximum.
No.
For the 100.
You need to have minimum 8.
Minimum 8, maximum?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, great, thank you. The next question would be, what about like pet coaching or group coaching? Yes, do they apply?
Yeah, they do apply. Just for purpose of information, group coaching, let's say I'm coaching 10%, and I spend about 2 hours in this session.
It's still 2 hours, yes.
Yes, it's 2 hours. Yeah,
Fine.
You can apply that as part of your coaching hours.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Bye.
Great, thanks for asking the question. Anyone else has other questions that you want to clarify? Hi, Kim.
Hi, Ben. Hi, everyone. So just to clarify, when can we actually start logging our coaching sessions? So I'm with Lisa's cohort, and we've basically just gone through our first ABC module. So are we able to start applying coaching learning now? We are able to start not applying it, logging it as coaching that we're doing?
Yes,
we are.
From the start date of your coach training. So let's say you start in September, that's where the formal date log, the log starts. That is 1st of September onwards.
Okay, and then for the coaching that we're doing with each other, so obviously we're arranging to do some coaching within our cohort, are we able to book those as actual coaching sessions as though they're bartered clients, and we can start using those to log against? Oh, yeah. Perfect, lovely, great, that's great. Thank you.
Just want to make sure that we are clear. The former, the one that you do as a coaching supervision, the practical lab that you're going to do in the second phase, that one cannot be counted as experience. But when you're doing your own peer-to-peer practice during this period of time, outside practical lab, you can count those as hours.
Fabulous, great. Okay, that's great. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Great, we'll just wait for a while to see if there are any other questions that you have in mind that you'd like to clarify. Looks like we're almost complete.
Sorry, Ben. Sorry, one last question. You mentioned earlier on about the memo that you need from your organization. When you are an internal within the organization, do you still need a memo?
Yes, you need.
Okay, whether you are external or internal, you still need a memo from your organization.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, and don't worry about the memo. All you need to do is go to the ICF website, and under documentation, they will kind of like tell you now what these are the content that needs to be captured inside the memo. Okay, so we're just letting you know where you can find the information to make it easier for you to navigate. Cool, great. So are we done for the evening? Well done. So let's give a bit of the round of applause. Cool. Okay. So moving forward, I 2 days ago we managed to kind of like strike a deal with a NGO organization that is supporting educators in the European continent. So as you're aware that CMA forms strategic partnerships with like-minded partners to offer pro bonus coaching. So currently we are having a partnership with the Junior Achiever in which we create a platform for coaches to offer coaching, to young leaders. So starting next year, we will be providing coaching support to educators in the European continent. So these are platforms in which we can offer to our students to get real life coaching experience coupled with us supporting you guys, mainly because as part of this initiative, we're going to gather once a month to kind of like debrief our experience. Okay, this is how you handle these cases, how you handle that cases. So it kind of like it allows you to translate the ACC application, and kind of a little bit more, kind of stuff like that. Yeah, and then at the same time, for you to gain that confidence in working with a real client for those who might not have the opportunity to expand. However, this platform is only available to those who are doing mentor coaching with CMA, because we want to make sure that, besides having a formal training and understanding, you have the adequate support from a mentor coach to sharpen up your skills. Okay, and also we want to be duly responsible, even though this is a pro bonus initiative. We want to make sure that our coaches are adequately prepared, to be able to deliver something impactful or of certain standards to the client. So watch out for that invitation coming in, okay, to be a partake of that. Apart from that, if you want to really gain experience, join us in the CMA Crows. This is a Facebook. I believe that most of you have already received the invitation. Use the Facebook and reach out to your friend and say, hi, I'm looking for peer-to-peer practice. Anyone interested? Okay, so reach out for that, and or join the COP in which you get to know other coaches and let them know, hello, I'm available for some peer-to-peer practice. Anyone interested? So we had a huge coaching community. Like in today, we already have about 50 plus of you guys here. Just find a way to connect each other and say, let's practice. Can you coach me? I coach you. That's how we move on to accumulate the hours. Cool. Great. Ronald, anything you'd like to add on before we end? I also have Lena to say something before we end, and Joanna too.
Yeah, mine will be very short. Just don't think. We have talked so much, so stop thinking whether you should or should not. Just do it.
Thank you. Thank you, Ronald. Yes, too much option is a bad option. You got no options, that's the best. Just go for it. Thank you, Ronald. Lena, do you have anything to say to our students?
Sure. Just use the network that you already have. Reach out to us, reach out to the faculty if you have any questions with this, and really use this network and the students that are already here, as Ben has said. So I can really encourage you. It's lots of fun to practice. It takes off the pressure, and just have fun while you practice, and your hours, you will get them super quickly, I'm sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Lena. And Joanna, do you like to say something before we end?
Maybe when I am asked, Joanna, you are a coach? I said, no, I am a professional coach.
Wow.
What is the difference? I got a credential.
Well said. Thank you, Joanna. And with that in mind, let's give ourselves a round of applause for well-attended event. Joanna, I will answer you later. Okay, so take care, everybody. Do join us for our live coaching demonstration the week after next week. We're going to take a break next week. And watch out for November. We're going to have a special webinar too, debunking the myth of transformation. Okay, so it's a free webinar to continue to deepen your understanding about this transformational coaching approach. Okay, so take care, everybody. Yolanda,
Thank
the
you.
platform is available for anyone who is currently doing mentor coaching with our faculty. So it's just a way of just ensuring that the individual coaches has kind of like supervision and support to be apart from the certification training that he has received.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. It's not that we want to make it entry point or to make this an opportunity to get people to mentoring session, but we really want to make sure that even though it's a pro bonus initiative, we don't want to assume that anyone who just completed certification training is adequate enough to create, yeah, that's the assumption that we don't want to make. We just want to make sure that, apart from certification, at least this person got a supervisor or a mentor to give feedback on how he's coaching so far, because at the certification level we only offer feedback in terms of whether it's demonstrated and not demonstrated. We don't have mentoring around how that understanding is being adequately demonstrated. So in order to make sure that we deliver a quality in at least something decent, we are only applicable to people who are doing credential, who are going for credential, sorry. Okay, thank you for that understanding. Great. So, well, take care, anyone. Take care. If you have any question, just you can use this last moment to go, oh, I got one question. Please answer it. Because it's so much easier to just answer like this rather than email. Okay, just going to hang around for 5 minutes. Oh, no, 5 minutes too long, 1 minute. If not, we're going to stay here whole night.
Okay.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, who's that?
Ian here.
Oh, where are you? I don't see you.
I'm in my room, so I didn't on the video.
Okay, Yan, yeah, go okay, Yan.
Yeah, can I ask a question? So if you're in an advanced course, right, are you able to indicate like preference for certain mentors
Oh,
for
yes, no worries.
consideration?
No problem. We will do that. It's just that
okay.
we do not want to overload too much information at this point of time. And even the mentoring will only start somewhere in February next year.
Okay.
So no point
Okay.
to make any decision at this point of time.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. Any other questions?